Good morning, guys. Happy Saturday. Wow, I forgot it was Saturday. I was gonna say Friday. Let's do some coffee talk this morning. Let's do my live video over some coffee, post-workout, post-sweaty workout, not quite selfie video. I'm gonna wait and see if anyone pops on. Good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. Who's ready for an amazing weekend? Coffee in one hand, confidence in the other. Who just popped on? If you pop on, say hello to me. I can't see on my phone. Give me an emoji, give me a wave, give me a hi, give me a something. All right, guys, I'm gonna start talking because it's really annoying when I watch videos and people just go on and on waiting for people to hop on. But anyhow, if people add an emoji when they get on or like a little hi, other people will get notified that I'm on and maybe jump on with me. All right. So pardon the sweat. I wanted to talk this morning about something I wanted to talk about Thursday, but I never got on Thursday. And I don't know if I'll be on as frequently next week. It's my kiddo's birthday. I've been on every day, Monday through Friday, except with the exception of this Thursday, for like a month now, guys. So I might be cutting it down just a little bit to maybe 3 days a week because I think you're all getting sick of me. Anyhow, so I was going to talk about, you guys all heard me rant yesterday about the comment to one of my gals in my online fitness community. And then I sort of talked about what I was going to talk about today. So that's about sugar. And guys, I have to tell you, like, there's a lot of people, I used to see this all the time in my medical practice, and I continue to see it as a fitness coach. People come into my world and they think that they're not eating a lot of sugar. They're eating healthy, right? But there's a couple of things, and I actually talked about this in a podcast interview this past Thursday. Hey, Patty, that there are so many sugars hidden in foods, guys, that are promoted as healthy, and you really have to be careful. For instance, the famous one or the big one I see people kind of get hung up on is vanilla yogurt. So yes, they say, oh, Greek yogurt is supposed to be healthy, right? And then they go and get the vanilla Greek yogurt or regular vanilla yogurt, and you have to look at the sugars because, and I have no problem with the fat. I tend to buy the whole milk or the 2% for my kiddos, obviously not the 0% for my kids. In all my nutrition programs, I always recommend 2%, but plain, okay? So when you put that, any flavoring in there, so if you guys are getting like the Chobani, like flip tops with all that crap in it, guys, there's so much sugar. But I hear so many people, it's healthy. It's not healthy. Yes, it's yogurt, but it's not a healthy food choice. There's so much sugar. So I actually had a vanilla in my fridge, and my mother-in-law was just here. She was eating it. My kids eat it once in a while in their smoothies. And you look at it, I think it was either 24 or 25 grams of carbs, like 22 or 23 of them were sugar. So the majority of, Patty, drop me a little emoji if you're still on. Say hi. That way people know I'm on and they can tune in. Because it's kind of early. People should be getting up and enjoying their coffee. Might as well hang out with me and chat. Anyhow, so yeah, you're having you're having a chunk of cake first thing in the morning, and you might as well go have a piece of cake, right? What's a healthier option if you eat yogurt? I'm currently not having yogurt. I was eating plain yogurt a lot. I'm currently avoiding dairy as much as I can. But if you get yogurt, get a plain yogurt, okay? And then sweeten it either. So here's the other issue, okay? Or let me continue my thought. Sweeten it with like a stevia. I like the little stevia drops. And then maybe put some berries in it. Or if you're really not that hung up on sugar or that sweeter taste, just put the berries in it. You can put a little bit of maple syrup in it, just a little, guys. Don't go overboard, okay? So I probably wouldn't just put regular white sugar in it. Or you could put like an extract in it, like a flavored extract of some sort, okay, to flavor it. And you'd be surprised how good it tastes. And it's still yogurt, and it doesn't have all that sugar. Here's the other comment I want to make, though. So people that tend to eat lots of sugar and sweet things, they, I don't want to say get addicted, but they do. They get addicted to that sweet taste. So for instance, if you're kind of coming off eating vanilla yogurt every day with berries in it, and then I'm saying put, plain yogurt with berries, it's going to be drastic. You're not going to like the taste of it because it's not as sweet. It's not as satisfying to your brain because your brain's so used to that sugar. So what I usually say is, put some stevia in there, make it a little bit sweeter, and maybe titrate down on the stevia over time so your taste buds change, right? So you're not missing that sweet taste as much. Honestly, if you start cutting down, the same with like sugar and coffee and what have you, like if you start titrating down the amount of sugar you put in your coffee to the point where someday you might not even be able, may not even need sugar in your coffee, great, right? So there are so many sugars hidden in everything, like, gosh, guys, if you eat cereals, forget about it. Look at the sugar in cereal. I want you to start looking at labels, okay? Turn the label over and look at sugars. Sugars are carbs, so usually under the carbs are sugars, and under carbs are also fiber. Most healthy foods have a higher fiber content and obviously a lower sugar. I always say this, if you're going to get packaged food, try to stick to 5 ingredients or less. If the ingredient list is this big, chances are there's a lot of crap in there that you don't need, okay? I'm trying to think of what else, like the cereals in the morning, the yogurts. A lot of salad dressings are high in sugar and fat, and what happens is I see people like pouring salad dressings all over their salad. Okay, so here's what I do. I actually put it in a little cup, I dilute it with water, and then I sometimes just dip my fork in it and put it over the salad, or dip my fork, take a couple stabbings with my fork, and then eat it, okay? That way you're not getting a boatload of fat. And again, I'm not against fat, but do you really need 50 grams of fat in your salad for your salad dressing alone? I'd rather you have an avocado, olive oil, MCT oil, something, nuts, cashews, rather than bread. The Heidelberg. Okay, so Patty has a question about breads. Breads all are higher in sugar, but if you choose to have bread, the Heidelberg, which is our local bread, it is without preservatives, which is a better type of bread. I'm not a big bread eater, but I would probably, and again, you can look at the side as far as the sugars in the bread, because they all have some sugars in them, and there are all, the carb content is all different, but generally like a slice of Heidelberg bread has, I don't know, I want to say 26 grams, and I actually have a loaf. I should go look at the sugar, but I'm not sure what the sugar is, but they all have a little sugar in it. Again, I'm not big on pastas and breads, but here's what I'm going to say. Should you never have them? No. But should you have like 5 pieces of bread a day? Probably not. Actually, it's not, that's not the best source of nutrition for you, especially white bread, it really has no nutritional value. So I'm trying to think of lunch aside from dressings. Fruits aren't bad, guys. They're natural sugars. But here's the thing, another thing I learned. I had a patient who came in. I will never forget her. She was a lovely woman, really trying to watch her weight, like probably in her 60s. I got her blood work back, and her sugars are really high, and something called hemoglobin A1C, which is the 3-month measure of her blood sugar, was really high. It's like pre-diabetic. I was like, oh my gosh, what are you having? She was like, nothing bad. Well, when I dug deeper, what she was having was like 4 bananas a day, 5 kiwi a day. Those are high in sugars. Yes, they're natural sugars, but guys, you still have to be careful. Sugar is sugar, okay? So I would not recommend having 5 bananas and 4 kiwis in a day. I would say, if you have a banana, maybe half a banana. Berries are lower in sugar and carbs. They're high in antioxidants. Have your berries, have half a banana, have an apple. I'm not against fruit by any means, but like everything in moderation, right? So, maybe spread your fruits out throughout the day. Maybe have your berries in your plain yogurt, which I just talked about in the beginning of the video. The other thing I have to say is I remember taking care of someone who's, I'm sitting on the porch being a nosy neighbor. His sugars were high, and he was having a lot of Red Bulls. So those energy drinks, you got to be careful with those too. When you look at a lot of the energy drinks or sodas, guys, sodas, please stop drinking soda. But if you look at how much sugar, it's like 50 grams of sugar in a lot of these, like energy drinks. Not all of them. I think they're getting better now, but they're not necessarily healthy. But like the sodas, forget about it. The diets, obviously, no, but then there's other crap in the diet sodas, so got to be careful there too. I'm trying to think of what else I has a ton of like hidden sugars in it that I can tell you guys about. Like that's just not how I eat. But I think the one I think of most are you gotta be careful, the granolas. All the granolas, like store-bought granolas, have a ton of sugar in them. So my point is, someone can think that their diet is healthy. They're getting a ton of hidden sugars in the food that they're buying, in their cereals, in the granola that's like healthy, excellent form of fiber, non-GMO. But look at the nutrition label, okay? Look at how many carbs, but more importantly, under the carbs, look at the sugars. If the majority of the content of the carbs is sugar, probably shouldn't be having it, okay? So stop eating the refined sugars. Look at labels. Cut out the flavored yogurts. Go for a plain yogurt. Flavor it with a little stevia, some berries. Stay away from your sodas, because here's the thing, guys. We are realizing, and I don't know, the conventional medical community might be a little bit different because I'm functional medicine, but if you listen to across the board of all of the docs that are coming out now talking about sugar, they're all obviously saying that we were told a lie for years, that everyone went on this, there's actually a history to it which I won't go into, but like this low fat diet, because everyone thought fat was causing high heart disease, and it's not, it's the sugars. So you really have to, you'll be amazed. And I don't do well with saturated fat, so I kind of have to be careful, just because I have whatever, it's a whole nother, but as far as heart disease, it might affect my cholesterol more, okay? So it is we are finding that people in this country, the rates of heart disease and obesity and diabetes is going up and up. Why? Because all these freaking hidden sugars and all the processed food that we have that's like branded as healthy. Marketing is amazing. People are like, oh my God, it's so healthy. I'm going to buy it and eat an entire bag. And what's happening is we're chasing our tail. We have a country that's obese and sick. If you look at the rates of disease throughout this country, it's getting worse. Why? Look at our food, okay? So I plead to you, I'm not anti-carb. You guys know this. I am all about balanced nutrition. If you watch, I talk about it all the time on my IG stories. I don't think keto's for everybody. I don't really think keto's for a lot of people, but that's just my opinion. I think that you need fat. I think you need some carbs, but be careful as far as your carb sources. I love eating sweet potatoes as a carb source. I'm not against quinoa or some rice, but I'm against daily consumption or frequent consumption of breads and pastas and cereals and soda, and that's just going to get you into trouble. And here's the other thing, it's addicting. You get addicted to sugar. The scientists know how to put the stuff in the food, so you can't just eat one. It's that commercial, everybody laughs at it, that you can't just eat one. It's real, guys. It's real. And I'm not conspiracy theory at all, but like, it's true. I mean, poor people. So just don't buy the packaged food that you can't stop eating, okay? That's what I always tell my peeps, and that's what I personally do. If I can't, I have a hard time having peanut butter in the house, because I'll just eat the entire jar of peanut butter because I love it so much, okay? So I don't buy it. And if I do, I make sure I don't really go into the cupboard where it is, because I don't even think about it, because if I think about it when I get hungry, I'm going to want to go and take a scoop. So that's my 2 cents on sugars. If you start making a conscious choice of looking at labels, cutting down on your sugars, even if you have to do it little by little, just because, I still want you to enjoy your food. I want you to enjoy eating. But I also want to detox you from the sugar addiction and that taste, and not have to always have that sweetness to all your foods, okay? And so once you start healthier eating, hey, thank you, you're not going to crave the sugars anymore. And you'll realize too, this is the last thing, your cravings will get better. You won't be craving that sugar all day, okay? All right, that's all I have to say, guys. Thank you for joining me. Saturday mornings are a good morning to come and chat with you guys. There's a lot of people on. I'm going to hop over to Instagram and chat with them a little bit about the same thing. So if you missed it here, you can go over there. It's not scripted. It's totally off the cuff, but it's always on my heart. And you guys know I talk from my heart, and I want to make everyone healthy any way I can. So if you don't choose to work with me, if this is the only information you get, please just be mindful of what you're eating, look at labels, and try to cut down on those sugars. Okay, guys, love you. Happy weekend. If you're in Cooperstown, stay safe with induction weekend. I'm going to be heading to the lake for the day, getting away from the people. Okay, guys, although the lake is probably going to be busy, but whatever. All right, guys, love you. Have a great day. See you soon.